Food shortages may be pushing North Korean fishermen into dangerous waters. The drifting vessels may be traveling hundreds of kilometers in an attempt to harvest more fish. Numerous rundown boats presumed to be from North Korea have washed up on the coasts of Japan. The Associated Press reports the number of ships has increased dramatically in recent years. One-third of these ghost boats touched ground on the coast of Japan's northern island of Hokkaido. Some are carrying dead bodies. The North Korean boats might be traveling into farther and more dangerous waters in an attempt to reel in larger catches and increase sources of protein for the country. North Korea is struggling to provide its people with sustainable food sources. The boats most likely cannot withstand rough seas due to their deteriorated states. Japanese Coast Guard say 95 boats have washed up in Japan so far this year, forcing them to increase security measures. This time last year, a ghost ship carrying the remains of 8 people was found along Japan's coastline. The latest news on the authoritarian country.
North Korea nuclear site continues construction. Commercial satellite photos from June 21st show construction continuing at North Korea's Yongbyon Nuclear Scientific Research Center. According to 38 North, images show modifications to North Korea's 5 MWE reactor secondary cooling loop appear to be finished from the outside. However, determining the reactor's operational status was difficult. The status of the radiochemical laboratory where the plutonium is separated from spent fuel rods remains uncertain, while the site's thermal plant coal bins appear to be somewhat depleted, suggesting operations there have continued. Construction of support facilities around the experimental light water reactor also look to be complete externally. Work at the site, however, should not be seen as having any relationship with the country's pledge to denuclearize. According to 38 North, North Korea is expected to proceed with nuclearization until they are given specific orders from Pyongyang.
Kim Jong-un gets first official portrait. Pyongyang has unveiled what is believed to be the first official portrait of Kim Jong-un, thereby announcing his promotion to full-on god. While North Korea is literally littered with official portraits of his father and grandfather, Kim Jong-il and Kim Il-sung, he was initially seen as just a successor rather than a leader. But thanks to a delightful 2018 that saw the young dictator meet with the world's biggest orange and North Korea's brethren down south, Kim has now officially reached Yeezy status. According to the BBC, the portrait, which features a smiling Kim in a suit and tie, was on display during a recent visit by Cuba's president. According to NK News, the portraits are usually made by Pyongyang's Mansudae Art Studio and are subject to strict regulations. It appears with the new release of this official portrait that Tons of Fun's cult of personality is getting an upgrade. At this rate, we may be lucky enough to see a second official portrait. The world can only wait in anticipation.
North Korea's high-speed rail hopes. Kim Jong-un wants to travel fast, like a bullet. Reuters reports Pyongyang is hoping to create a high-speed rail network between its cities and across national borders. According to the news agency, a senior North Korean official told the French Senate earlier this year they'd like to cooperate with French companies to build the railway. Reuters reports when reporters visited the demolition of the Ponghae-ri nuclear test site in June, the journey took them 12 hours on North Korea's current railroads. South Korea's high-speed rail could have made the journey in just 2.5 hours. Reuters added that a project like this could be a potential money spinner, but that nuclear-related sanctions on business with the North could pose a challenge. Would you visit North Korea by rail? North Korea starts to dismantle missile testing site. Maybe the North Koreans will keep their end of the deal after all. 38 North reports North Korea has begun dismantling key facilities of the Sohae satellite launching station. According to satellite images of the launching site, the rail-mounted processing building, where different launch vehicles were formerly prepared, was partially dismantled and now has been completely removed. Satellite images taken from July 20th to July 22nd show the dismantling of the nuclear site. The nearby rocket engine test stand, where there were liquid fuel engines for the ballistic missiles and launch vehicles, have also been removed. However, in the images taken, the new fuel and oxidizer bunkers, the main processing building, and gantry tower seem to be left untouched. CNN reports Trump commented on North Korea's dismantling of key facilities of the satellite launch station and said, "We appreciate that." DPRK working on subsea missile barge. North Korea is working on a sea weapon that'll send your rubber ducky quacking. The North has begun work on a second submarine-launched ballistic missile test stand barge. According to 38 North, it resembles old Russian PSD-4 test barges. The barge reportedly measures 9 meters by 22 meters, making it around 1/3 of the length of the Sinpo-class submarine. According to submarine expert H.I. Sutton, the old Soviet raft could be sunk to a set depth. And then the missile would be launched from a central tube. North Korean defector's stomach full of nasty parasites. The contents of a recent North Korean defector's stomach paint a hopeless picture of what life is really like inside the Hermit Kingdom. The North Korean border guard was shot several times while fleeing across the demilitarized zone to South Korea last week. Medical staff treating the defector say they found numerous parasites inside his body. Several of these were removed from his digestive tract, including one 27-centimeter-long roundworm. They were likely caused by farming practices in the north where human excrement is used for fertilizer due to a lack of chemical fertilizer. Known as night soil, this practice is notorious for spreading parasites and disease. And that god-awful practice was championed by this guy. And he's full of it. Very full.